I'm Drew.
I'm Scott.
Welcome to Everyman's Whiskey.
Today we are on site in the heart of the Midwest, Dayton, Ohio at
Hall Brothers Distillery. We're looking forward to it, and we're going to have a good time. Let's get started. Today on Everyman's Whiskey, we're here at Hall Brothers with Kyle Hall, sipping the finest stuff that Ohio has to offer.
Absolutely.
We're going to try 5 different liquids from Kyle, right? We appreciate your time today, Kyle, and we're going to learn a lot from you along the way. What we usually do is we'll ask some questions as we kind of taste stuff, so you'll share a little bit as we ask questions and taste what you have to offer. We're looking forward to it.
I got it.
Can you tell us what we're going to be sampling today?
Okay. So, as we look down through here, I've got one true American whiskey. I've got my bastard whiskey, my little moonshine. And then I make a vodka and flavor it, and I have 3 different flavors up here today. I have Crazy Ivan, which is a black Russian. It's a nice coffee-flavored vodka.
Great name.
I have 2020 Lemonade and Orange 88. And I'll explain how I make all these, what's in them, why they are the flavors they are, and how we get to those flavors.
Okay, sounds good. I'm ready to taste the first one.
We should begin. I think we'll start with an American whiskey. In order to make this one, we use all local Ohio grains. I have 2 separate small farmers that I purchase all my grains from. I have Rustic Brew Farm out in Marysville, and I have Down Home Farms up in Versailles. Both of them are small local family farmers that, just are growing the best crops for exactly what I do. The ingredients inside this bottle, I use 2 parts corn, 1 part wheat, 1 part rye, and 1 part malted barley. It's a little bit of everything because that's how I like it. I treat it nice and put it through a copper still, and then I use these little 5-gallon barrels over here to age it so it goes a little bit quicker for me. And I think you guys are going to like what we get out the other end of those.
Very good. While you pour that, Kyle, it's our tradition as we taste each one. I usually would share a fun fact about the distillery, but you are the master of facts for Hall Brothers. So I think the question is why? Why are you distilling? What caused you to do this?
Well, the truth of it is I am 3rd generation alcoholic on all sides. But really? I'm the first one to go pro. I figured if this is the direction I'm going, I might as well sponsor myself, right? No. In all honesty, it's something that I enjoy. When I got the chance to do whatever I wanted in life, my wife was the one that suggested this. She's like, you half-ass everything, and I do. That fence is straight enough to keep the dog in. It's fine. But with this, it was a full science experiment. I'm recording everything. I'm paying attention to what's going right, what's going wrong, what I like and what I don't, and what gets me my favorite product. And she just sat back and watched me, work on something like this. And it seemed a nice fit. You might as well go in that direction because you obviously have a passion for it.
It's the one thing you don't half-ass. You might as well make it your profession.
It was either this or try and open a canoe livery and just float all day. Which, if things go right, I'm on a river, I will throw canoes in the back and get people drunk before and after the canoe trip. There's still a possibility. So the American whiskey. Okay. I can't sit here and tell you you're going to taste caramels and, marshmallows. I hope you like what you taste.
What do you get on the nose?
I get all the goodness in the world.
Right?
It's made from the angels.
It's very sweet.
And what I will tell you is that you will get the full grain flavor. It's the first time the grain was used, fresh, natural grain. And you will get the full barrel flavor. Even though it was only in there a year, part of that barrel is still sitting in the bottom of the glass.
Yeah, it's definitely unfiltered.
I run it through a screen, but I don't filter it. I like the little charcoal pieces floating around in there. Yep. I don't apologize at all for that. Cheers, fellas.
Cheers.
I hope you like
Kyle.
That is really smooth.
What's the proof on that?
Everything in these bottles is 80 proof.
Yeah, that's very drinkable.
Mm-hmm.
And well done, Kyle.
I get some people that, hey, I'd like it 90 or I'd like it barrel proof. Are you ever going to do that? Right now it's 80 because I like it that way, and it allows me to get more bottles out of that barrel. If it was 120 proof straight out of the barrel, I'd get a gallon less, you know? So right now it's all about that bottom line and getting as many bottles as I can.
Tastes really good.
I'm glad you like it.
It's very sweet as well, which you rarely get from an American whiskey.
Really, I told you the recipe, one of everything and 2 corns. I don't do anything special to it besides let that copper still treat it right and let the barrel do its job. I don't buy a specialized yeast that's going to give me twice the alcohol in the end, because I think if you stress that out and get every drop of alcohol that's possible, I think you can taste that, you know. I use Red Star Distillers Active Dry Yeast. You can find it anywhere. And it does a great job. It takes its time. It finishes out nice. It doesn't give me a lot of product in the end, but the product it gives me is the best I can make.
Yeah.
I really like it.
Awesome.
I enjoyed it.
Well, thank you for that. I'm looking forward to the next. And for our next whiskey, we're going to Two Sticks.
But the catch is, Two Stick is not a whiskey.
It's not a whiskey.
I call it my bastard whiskey, but it's
Okay.
such a bastard I'm not really allowed to call it whiskey. Two Stick is a moonshine.
Okay.
So the way we make this, well, let's start this way. The big long name up behind me is Two Stick Sour Mash Moonshine. It's moonshine because we added sugar in to run this batch. We took all the grain left over from the whiskey after it was used. We took all the water that was left over from the whiskey after it was used, put it all back together. And then we threw sugar on top and let the yeast come back to life and run their course again. Produce alcohol again, but the alcohol we get off of this one, we're forced to call a moonshine because we added sugar in on the side. The actual fermentable sugars didn't come from grain, and so that separates it from a whiskey.
Okay.
So it's moonshine because we added sugar. We cheated. I cheat all the time. It is sour mash because we did use the grain and the water from the previous batch. And it's Two Stick because inside of every bottle, I take used bourbon barrels. I buy them from Kentucky by the skid load. I run them through the saws in the back, and then I take them out on the fireplace out back and char them again. So I take used bourbon barrels, cut them down, re-char them, and I put 2 pieces inside of every bottle. So the unique thing about this, which we're going to see right here, is it actually ages in the bottle as it sits on your shelf at home. So the one I've got here was bottled September 22nd, 2002, or 2022, which was, last week? So this is a week old. And we're going to see as we pour this out what the sticks have done in a week. Because when it goes in the bottle, it's clear as can be.
This is our first moonshine on air. This is going to be fun.
And it's still light in color.
I have a question, Kyle.
Let's hear it.
What's a mistake you've made during distilling that you're like, oh, you freaking idiot?
All of them. All of them.
Give us a story of a big one.
Okay. We'll start with the story from the beginning. My first batch. When I first started doing this here, I would take 15-gallon soup pots, nice big pots. I would put 50 pounds of flour in each and then fill them up with water and heat them up to the temperature that I want to see to get that sugar out of them. So I put in 2 bags of corn because it's 2 parts corn. Brought them to a boil. I got drills going constantly, sitting on top stirring it because boiling cornmeal is not the easiest thing to do. And somewhere along the way, either they stopped spinning or something stuck, but they both burned. So now I'm smelling burnt corn, which is not what you want to smell. Burn is not a flavor that anybody enjoys. And so within, 15 minutes, I'm panicking. This is, my first batch. It's supposed to go perfect. It didn't. So I call my farmer, and I get his voicemail and said, hey, I need 2 more bags of corn. I'm trying to run this, and this is what happened. Before he could get the message and call me back, I threw a bottle of whiskey in the car and started driving to the farm. He calls me back about 20 minutes into the drive and says, sure, I will have a bag for you ready first thing in the morning. Don't worry, I got you covered. Well, I'm already 20 minutes in your direction, but I do have a bottle of whiskey sitting next to me, and you can hear it in his voice. Fine, I'll go out to the shed and I'll get one ready for you now. I'll see you in about an hour. That's good.
Do you always keep a couple bottles in the trunk now?
There's my favorite thing about this whole job is selling moonshine out of the trunk of my Cadillac. It really is. Last time I pulled up to the state warehouse to deliver to them, she's like, "Okay, what are you driving? What kind of truck?" I'm like, "Oh no, darling. I got 10 cases in the trunk of my Cadillac."
It's the white
She's like,
Cadillac.
"Are you serious?" I said, "Yeah, it's moonshine too." So it seems right.
That's
she
awesome.
just laughed and told me to pull around to the load guy, back up to the door. We'll take care of you.
Very fun.
So this is a week-old moonshine.
Very light.
You can
in
see
color.
it's very
Looks
light
like a
in color.
moonshine.
Yep.
You can smell that corn a lot.
Yeah. Beautiful smell.
Let's see it.
Okay. It's nice and sweet.
Very smooth.
Probably the smoothest moonshine I've ever had. And you said this is 80
It's
proof?
80, so it's a little
Yeah,
Okay.
everything's 80. But
It's creamy too, though, like cream corn almost at the finish. That's really good.
That
I
is really
cheat,
good.
and it's good. I mean, that's a week's worth on a couple
the
of sticks.
charcoal, yeah,
You would
like-
assume that's unaged. I mean, a week gives you nothing, right?
Right.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like all the stuff I make.
The 2 sticks
Right.
is pronounced.
Yeah, it's
So,
definitely.
here,
That's
let's
fun.
do it
That's
out
a
loud.
great try.
This one here is about a year old.
Oh,
Same
okay.
recipe, same thing, older label.
Bonus pour.
But this was bottled, put on sticks, 11 of 2021. So the only difference is it sat in this bottle on those sticks for longer.
Okay. I'm really curious.
Still light in color.
Very light.
Oh, somebody's
You
getting
take
a
the
big
big
one.
one. You take that one.
You can both have big ones.
Okay.
There we go.
I've had plenty.
You definitely get more charcoal, more caramel, more vanilla. You get that everything that you would expect from a charred or a barreling.
whiskey,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
it's just more pronounced.
It's still a moonshine.
Yeah.
Yep.
You still get a little
There's corn,
moonshine.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was raw sugar that did the fermentation. So you're going to taste corn and wheat and rye because it was all in there too. But you still hold on to that moonshine flavor.
Do you have a preference for how long, like, that you've tried? Like, oh man, this was the perfect age.
This is the oldest one I've tasted.
Okay.
I like them both.
Man, I'm glad we got to try that one.
It's not fair to ask me.
Yeah.
Because
They're all your babies.
I make these exactly how I like them. If I didn't like them in any way, I would have changed them by now.
Mm-hmm.
These are geared right towards me. It's dangerous.
You've got a great taste.
But, so asking me which one I like them all, and that's the honest truth.
Yeah.
I really do.
Well, for the first time on Every Man's Whiskey, we're gonna try vodka.
Every man's vodka. Let's go.
That's right. It'll hold up. It'll hold its own. So, the way we make the vodka, we start with the whiskey. We take that fresh grain, ferment it, distill it, treat it right, make a whiskey out of it. Then we take our bastard whiskey and we add the water back into the same grain, the same water. We add a little bit of sugar and let it do its thing over. The yeast ferments it. We distill it. It becomes a beautiful product in the end. The way we make the vodka is to take that same grain, that same mush that is in the bottom of the barrel, and use it again.
Because you care about the earth and you like to recycle?
And it kind of fits my budget a little
Oh.
bit. Free is good. Free is very good. But the reason why I want that grain in there is it's pretty much given up its flavor. And our goal here with this vodka is to make a neutral spirit. So the more flavorless it is, the better it is. But I need it in there to feed the yeast. It has nutrients and stuff that the yeast is gonna need, and it's still keeping it alive as is. It's the perfect thing. If I didn't have that, and I want to make a vodka, I'd have to add something like that in. So the fact that it's sitting there ready to go to waste is perfect for free. So we take that vodka, and what makes it a vodka, to legally write vodka on the label, we have to get this batch up to 190 proof or more, which takes some time. I have a different style still if you guys ever get to do a tour here. It's got 5 or 6 mason jars in it, and what that does is filter out any of the flavors that I don't want, and it filters out all the extra water that waters this down. That way I can reach that 190 proof that I need to in order to legally call it a vodka. So when that vodka comes out of the still at 190 or more, we water it down to 160, which is still twice as strong as I want my vodka to be when I serve it to you. But with that 160 vodka, I get out my old soup pots, and I throw in Starbucks French roast, I throw in brown sugar, vanilla, and I bring that to a boil and let it cool down overnight. So I made a big pot of cowboy coffee. With that nice, flavorful coffee, I add coffee and vodka half and half. So it takes that 160 down to 80 proof, but now it's half Starbucks French roast and brown sugar and vanilla. It becomes a nice, wonderful Black Russian. So we call our Black Russian Crazy Ivan. Crazy Ivan is labeled with the ATF as a mixed drink in a bottle. So this is officially a Black Russian in a bottle ready to be poured in your glass. So a Black Russian is usually vodka added with Kahlua, most times over ice. And that's what we've put together here. We've just made your Kahlua 80 proof. You know, we made it where you don't have to add somebody else's vodka on the side. It's all right there with the flavor ready to go.
Question before we drink this.
Let's hear it.
If you are at a bar and they do not have your own product, what are you going to order off the menu?
First, I'm going to order my product and ask them why they don't have it.
Obviously.
And I know because I haven't sold it to them. So
And you're going to cover your badge and tell them how much
oh,
how
no.
good it is.
I'm going to lean in like this, like, hey, have you ever heard of, So I've been drinking my stuff ever since I've started this. I make it exactly the way I like it. It's my favorite out there, or else I would have changed it to become my favorite. I love it. So it's a hard question because I've fallen in love with my own. But traditionally, before I got into this, Maker's Mark was my go-to. It's usually not overpriced anywhere you go, and it's a nice wheated bourbon. But lately, Angel's Envy has been my kind of makes me water in my mouth a little bit when I see the bottle. And like a true alcoholic, I like them all, though. I mean, you can put anything in front of me. I'll drink an Old Crow with you until the cows come home. I have no problem with that.
Well, I'm excited to try this, and my mouth is watering.
You
It's
should
probably
be.
the one I've been most excited to try. So,
Here we go. That is an excellent Black Russian.
that's so good.
It's got all the flavors.
How many
you possibly
flavors do you
want.
have in there?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's got everything that you described. And it is
So easy to drink. Maybe a little
a
dangerous.
little too
Yeah.
easy to drink. Yeah.
It's a great breakfast when you're camping.
This is neat too, like with an ice cube or
Yeah.
dash of creamer in that bad boy.
I mean, this is
Oh,
80
yeah.
proof, just like the whiskeys you were tasting.
I could wake up to that every day.
Yeah, that one's dangerous.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to drink vodka on the job, you might as well, just slip it in your coffee with all the flavor with it, right?
Very well done, Kyle. That's
Thank
phenomenal.
you. So most people, will enjoy a Black Russian, but everybody likes a White Russian. I've gone through the entire dairy section, Snickers Creamer and Almond Joy and Reese. I mean, all of them. My favorite right now is Peppermint Mocha. It comes out around Christmas time. It's coming up. As soon as pumpkin spice gets out of the way, they slip in the peppermint mocha. It's a wonderful mix.
You just put a splash in?
I do half and half.
Okay.
It's a nice little creamy shot.
yeah.
So, I mean, you're still getting a 40 proof shot with
Yeah.
that.
Right.
Absolutely.
But you can pick whatever you like in your coffee, you'll like in your Ivan.
Yeah.
Or you can just go, I mean, it's got enough flavor itself, as you guys will agree.
Oh, yeah.
I'm certain. If you just throw a half and half in there or a milk, you're going to get the best adult chocolate milk you ever had.
It's amazing. The flavor's still hanging around.
Yeah.
Really well done.
Yeah. Definitely the best vodka we've ever tasted on the show.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Easily.
Wait a minute. All right.
All right. For our next tasting,
Yeah.
we've got more vodka.
I've got 2 more flavors to put out there.
Okay.
So the best way to introduce them is to tell you how I make them, let you know what's in them. So what we have is Orange 88 and 2020 lemonade. The way I make these is I take that exact same 160 proof vodka, and I will sit in my office watching Netflix for at least a week on end, peeling
Sounds like you.
lemons and oranges like I'm Donald Duck peeling potatoes in the bottom of the boat. I just want the nice, colorful peel, the zest on the outside. When I get to that white pith underneath, it's bitter. I don't want it. I leave it behind, as well as all the fruit and all the juice. So now I've taken off what I want, and I pitched the fruit. I've got all these zests, and I will throw that zest into that 160 proof, that nice, strong vodka. And I want it very strong because I want it to eat away at those peels. And it does. I'll leave them in there for about 2 or 3 weeks, and when I take the lemon peels back out, they're almost white. All the color is now part of the vodka. All the oils, all the flavors, all the citric acid is now in the vodka. And I throw out the peels too. So now I've ruined an entire piece of fruit, but I got what I wanted out of it. So now I have this 160 proof, nice lemony vodka, and I will just take simple syrup, just sugar water, and water it down from 160 to 80. So the only thing in these bottles is nice clean vodka, sugar water, and the essence of the peels. The only difference between these two is what peel went into what barrel. They have the same vodka, the same sugar water. It's just which peel was in which. Let's try.
Orange and lemon. So what's a project that you're working on next that you're excited about? What's coming up?
The difficult thing in this business, in the state that I'm in, is you have to keep each flavor that you're selling up to a certain sales point, or else the state will discontinue carrying it.
Oh, shoot.
So I'm not in a big hurry
Yeah.
to push another flavor. 5 is a good amount of work for me as it is right now.
Yeah. Grow the
But
5 you have.
The next thing that's on the board is a ginger vodka. If you want to have a Moscow Mule,
Yeah.
why not start with the ginger vodka? Heck, you won't even need the ginger beer when I'm done. All the flavor will be in the vodka. Just hit it with soda water. You're good to go.
The orange we're going first?
Oh,
Or what do we do? Lemon?
tell me, which one did I pour?
This is lemon.
Okay.
All right,
Yeah.
lemon is first then.
Looks like lemon.
Okay.
Put your nose up to it. It'll tell us.
Oh, yeah, it'll tell us. Wow.
Sweet and tasty.
It's
That one's
lemonade.
dangerous.
It's
It's so dangerous.
it's lemonade.
If you put that in lemonade, it disappears. You won't
can
know
see-
you're
yeah,
drinking an
absolutely.
80 proof liquor in your lemonade. You can really get little kids drunk. I'm not saying that you should. It's not. Don't do that.
Dang
But
it,
you know,
Kyle.
if you're camping and it's bedtime, then
Oh,
don't do that.
It's really good.
This is one I warn people: if you take it out on the
Extremely-
boat,
This is 80 proof. It is not
You-
taste
No,
80 proof.
you
not
don't
at
realize
all.
what you do to yourself.
It really it sips like it's 20 proof. I mean, it's you can tell there's something there, but
Yeah.
this is tasty.
This is about the time you realize it wasn't 20 proof.
That's fair.
That's
I'm
that's
glad-
where you have
I'm
to be
glad
careful.
You've taken the work and measured
Correct.
it that.
But man, to make a
I
summery
mean-
drink with that, that's
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Impressive.
I mean, it's 80 proof, so it's a martini in a bottle. If you shake that over ice and pour it,
okay.
you throw a lemon garnish on it, and that's it. I've done all the work for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's try some orange. Let's
You
go.
put it in lemonade, it disappears. you throw that in an iced tea. It is a nice Arnold Palmer, a little lemon kicker to your iced tea. This does a good job.
That would be really good.
Or you can throw it in any citrus drink, like a Sprite or something like that.
Yeah. What's your preferred way to drink the lemon?
Either the way we just drank it or iced tea.
Yeah. Man,
But
that would-
again-
that'd be fun to try with iced tea.
You can put it in anything and I'll drink it. So the orange is the exact same thing, just a different peel. So what you get in the lemon, you get the sour from the peel and you get the sweet from the sugar I added. The orange doesn't really have that sour. The orange peel doesn't hold a sour, but it does hold a bitter flavor. They make bitters from orange peels. So you will get a little bitter aftertaste that I'm never going to get rid of, but I like it. I mean, I like playing with that after effect. Mm-hmm. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. The phenomenal flavoring on that.
That's just
Thank you
the
very
peel
much.
from an orange.
I make it
The
myself.
zest.
Yes. It's about as
There's
natural
so
as you
much
could
flavor
get.
in that, more than I would have expected.
Yeah, far more than I would have expected.
I'm certain I could go buy a syrup to do that, but
Yeah.
why when I can just
It's so strong
get
and
lemons and
pronounced that
oranges.
you would think that it almost was. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, that strong alcohol does all the work.
Yeah.
It strips that flavor out.
Everyman's Vodka might be a new route we want to go. That's really good.
I'm gonna sit in on every show. I'll just be the fourth guy, Bobby Booey, off to the side, you know.
So of the
Don't worry
five
about him.
you're selling, what's the most popular, the best seller?
Two Stick has been our tried and true. It's been the best seller. I think mainly because American whiskey is $50 a bottle.
Okay.
The others are...
The others are $25.
Okay.
So for the price, people tend to, I'm willing to risk the Two Stick and go that route. Plus, it's the one I have at the most state stores across the state, so it does move faster than the rest.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the most treasured has been the American whiskey. And the Crazy Ivan's been out longer. It's a nice wintertime drink. You know,
Yeah.
you take that dark coffee flavor and you can play around with it. It's a wintertime thing. Where lemon and orange during the summertime is, you know, buy 2 bottles because you're going to want another one. You know, it's moving well. But it only came out in the liquor stores this last summer and at this store the year before that. So it's the newer two.
Well, Kyle, thank you for hosting us today on Everyman's Whiskey. It's tradition to pick our favorite of the day to end on. I went with your 1-year-old Two Stick.
I went with the American whiskey.
And what did you end up with?
I like them all. So I got a little mix here. I took Crazy Ivan and mixed it with the Two Stick, which you would think a moonshine and a flavored vodka would not be the best mix, but Crazy Stick is something you didn't know you liked until you try it.
Very cool.
That sounds delightful. We'll have to buy a couple of bottles and try that one.
I don't see why not. And Kyle, you're living the dream for us. I know it's a lot of hard work at times and it's frustrating, but for those who haven't checked out Hall Brothers, highly recommend it.
Absolutely.
It's a great experience. Ask for it at your Ohio liquor store. Buy it here on site. It's been fun, man. I appreciate you having us.
Hey, no
It
problem.
has been
I've had a
lot of
blast.
fun. Yeah, so
I'm
thank
drinking
you.
before noon with an excuse. This is fun.
Thanks to Hall Brothers for hosting us today.
Kyle, we really appreciate your hospitality. We learned a lot. We had some fun, and we tasted some great drinks.
It was a good time. Make sure to check them out on Facebook. And thanks for joining us today on Everyman's Whiskey.
Be sure to like, subscribe, comment below.
And as always, quality over quantity.
Drink responsibly.
All right. So, you go first. It's your show.
I'm going to love the outtakes on this.
I know, right?
Now, if you end up resetting after every drink and need another drink, I'm going to catch on by the third one. Don't let that stop you. Don't let that stop you.
Well, Kyle, thank you for hosting us today.
Nope, do it again.
That's perfect.
No.
Nailed it.